2002. There'll be butterflies in the start here in this Battle of Sanmarino in 2024. The green flag clears and in Misano, as Jorge Martin absolutely nailed the start once again. He's already got through on Motogp Misano. This time around he has made the dream launch. Bagnaia leads in front of his home crowd.
Once again, Misano didn't.
Because yesterday had to wait until turn 8 for their whole shot device to diseng. First time Pedro Acosta making light work of Frankie Morbidelli. What a first lap this has been.
And Bastianini tried to pick up the pieces. Contact now between Marquez and Bezzecchi, who runs wide.
I think it was an early tangle here raging between the likes of Miller and Marquez, Bastianini and Bezzecchi. So back at the front, it is Bagnaia that leads, hotly pursued by his chief championship right.
The grip might be a little bit lower, and against Bagnaia, who we often see with early aggression, perhaps a little bit reluctant.
Time once again is Martin. Oh, that's so close. How tight was that? Martin is again to find a way through on Morbidelli, and there is more contact. What a battle this is.
Look on the right-hand side of his wheel of Pedro Acosta's left. The winglet has gone.
Yeah, and that's good. Hit.
So both Pramac Ducatis have been in contact. Taken away from here. I'm going to have to get out of this, and he just about realised in time. He closes it back on the...
What a scare this was. What an escape for the pair. Look, Martin, he thought he was going to hit more. Reaction there told you everything. His reaction there told it more than...
So this was at least the second attempt he'd had at passing Morbidelli, and you can see there, his left making contact with...
Probably sensed it was coming, so now Acosta then does find himself into P3. What a ride. You just wonder what he's missing downforce in the braking zone for turn 9. It picks him on that one.
So Bagnaia is now 0.6 of a second clear of Jorge Martinez. Acosta again, look, you can just see Marquez, who we saw making contact on the first lap of the race. Alex Marquez, we saw in that battle.
All the downforce you can possibly get just to help you into the corners. You actually is regrouping after some troubles with Acosta early on. He's the fastest rider on the circuit.
As we're out on board with the 93, we've got the 23 of Bastianini immediately ahead of us. Into fourth, and Brad Binder from 6th up into 5th place, although the longer the sprint went, I'll stick around at the front.
Aprilia having a right old humbling in their home Grand Prix. Their best runner's down. Somebody's gone down in sector 4.
Is it Morbidelli? Certainly not one.
And 14, bottom.
He has already passed the KTM, so it's been a tough minute or so for the KTM. Acosta down and track. They'll be communicating with the marshals down there at turn 14. Just how much gravel has Pedro Acosta?
Yeah, Simon just telling us from down in pit lane as well, another 14. Well, then the front end just washed out immediately. It was like he was crashing in the race into this tricky, gnarly, low-gear right-hander. Jack Miller
here is maintaining that lead of around 0.6 of a second over Martin. It's actually Morbidelli closing in on the back of it. He's going to make his way through on a KTM, which was the question he was asking himself for much of the sprint yesterday.
In the air as he fights desperately to hold on to this top 5.
Morbidelli is all over down to Quercicoin, which is where the leaders are now. Morbidelli certainly much closer to Martin than Martin is.
Yeah, you can see the missing air on the right-hand side of Marco Bezzecchi. The point he can get with the 26-point deficit is the rain just
at turn 4. So the riders are at the other end of the racetrack at the moment. They might be in for a bit of a nasty shock in a route. So what's that? Morbidelli doesn't. Yeah, he goes down.
Yeah, the rain has been coming stronger and stronger. It's very, very slick. It's very, very greasy out there. Bagnaia, a car hardly carrying. They come out of turn 6. No lean angle whatsoever from the world champion Bagnaia.
They might have to come in at the end of this lap for a flag-to-flag change. They're 2.5 seconds clear of Bastianini. Warning up. He's taken a second and a half out of them.
Martin goes wide, going through turn in that rebel ring in Spielberg. So then Martin's putting his hand on. I think they're just letting their teams know here. So Martin has rolled the dice then. He has come into pit lane. He's seen Pecco Bagnaia. He's the only rider who has decided he's seen enough. Too risky, too dangerous. Martin, a fine line between that genius, isn't it? And making the wrong call here. They're all now got to carry on slick tyres. As here they come, as we predicted. Brad Binder and Mark Miller also we have to factor in. Philip Miller, he is coming right into this battle as well. There is Jack.
I'll let you know how Jorge Martin is doing out there on his wet tyre shot bike. Marc Marquez is
going through on the inside. Wow. He just made that look so easy. He's just got so much more confidence.
56 seconds to do the second sector. Marc Marquez took 49 seconds.
Mark him in the brakes into the Rio corner. Coming from a long way back there. Moving out. Alex Marquez will drive and make the call. Signal so we know you're coming in.
And the riders with very little to lose. Marc Marquez leads from...
Well, he just looks more confident. To have a reference in front of him. It's now Marc Marquez. It's a case of follow the leader. I'm Marquez. And let 93 do the work at the front. He's just seen
it completed. Jorge Martin was 2 seconds slower than the leaders. Through the second sector, he was again 2 seconds.
His day. Pecco Bagnaia. Well, he would not have seen Martin come in. Over to his right and saw Bagnaia was not coming in, and he saw a whole bunch of riders also sweeping through, turning out to be a big Grand Prix. He's back in the pits here. Jorge Martin, this is the second swing this is having. Look at the impact on this championship.
Yeah, he's not even on his second by yet. Straight back in pit lane as Bagnaia attacks Marc Marquez. Martin Fernandez, Vinales, Espargaro, Acosta.
Brilliant performances by Jorge Martin to move into that commanding 26-0
for Marc Marquez for the lead. You can't see Jack Miller from this overhead shot. He's now got Bastianini, Alex Marquez,
Misano. Marc Marquez has not had back-to-back Grand Prix victories since Austin and admitted, I guess he's got a technical problem. I can't imagine he's pitting for a change of bikes as this battle continues on racket as he tries to get back on the podium here. Over the line, the gap between Marquez and Bagnaia was...
Win this Grand Prix from here. He did a 32.9 last time round. That's Miller.
Right now. We're following then the 2 future factory Ducati teammates in Q2. That's what, to Pecco.
The only position Jorge Martin is going to gain from here now is if riders fall off and Nakagami, and even if he could, there's just not enough time left in the race. Of course, dropping a look for the final World Championship point, unless riders drop out ahead of them.
It's easy to say, isn't it, sitting and discuss the strategy, discuss the tactics pre-race. We already saw something of a means.
It just crashed out.
Yeah, this is just such a huge moment in the World Championship here in Misano. Well, dream double slipped through his fingers the moment he just...
The rider who's second in the points is right in front of you. I guess the temptation would be just to do what, 45 seconds. You would only do that unless you were absolutely convinced that you were going to get that time back.
Misano mistake, isn't it, unfortunately, for Jorge Martin. As we said, he's got to make the quick... It's not a moment's rest around a circuit as busy as Misano as well, so he claimed a feeling that as soon as he saw Bagnaia not picked, he was thinking, oh no, wrong call. Back bit of a gap then back to Bastianini, who's doing low 132. He's the only rider currently out.
We'll obviously know that Jorge Martin isn't there anymore because you'll have seen his name disappear off his pit board. Team status in this race. Would the team have told him that Martin was effectively out? Would they have told him the 93 up ahead of him, who waited 1,043 days for a Motogp win? He might only have...
Marc Marquez leading here in Misano. This is going to be a real examination, isn't it, of Bagnaia's risk over reward ratio. You feel that what they don't want to see is Bagnaia throwing it to the scenery, with Martin already way...
Gresini Ducati is now up in 4th place. KTM's now 5th and 6th. Behind them is Marc, and then right behind them is a rather forlorn Jorge Martin.
Well, Marc Marquez, well, these scenarios as well, with light rain spots falling, tricky to work out where the limit is here in Misano. He's about to complete lap 15 of 27, well into the second, all comfortably in the 131s. The rider to keep a very close eye on, Duke. He's the fastest rider on circuit at the moment, and we know how good he is. And
for Bastianini is just how much rear tyre grip he has at the end of this race, because he's the only one of this leading through from the soft rear tyre to the medium. That's Marquez and Bagnaia. There was a 10 of Bagnaia because, of course, he's got very little to lose.
Behind as well for these brands so far this season. If you're wondering where Repsol Honda riders are today, well, we don't have factory Honda team. Aleix Espargaro on the factory Aprilia has just pitted.
For the third time, he's now pitted, we must assume this time, to retire from the race. The only Aprilia who up.
Nothing wrong with the grip and the punch that Marquez picks up out of Tremonto. Wins, but he's firmly on course for that success. Probably got on circuit for a brief break just to sweep away as quickly as they could some of the David. He's the fastest rider on track, 131.758, not much in it.
As you mentioned a moment ago, just the level that the top three are on at the moment. Of course, a lot of that is down moving. The GP23 is still a formidable piece of kit in its own right. The KTM.
How much Bagnaia is going to be willing to stick his neck out here to try and win in front of Marc Marquez. Marquez is doing a phenomenal job of just keeping that advantage around the half a second level. Sector 3 all weekend has been Bagnaia territory, but we're now coming into part of this result. We know how much Marc loves left-handers, and you feel if Pecco Bagnaia is not past him on the...
Around about half a lap ago has now switched hands. Binder up into 5th place, although Alex Martin, it's a tricky one here for Jorge Martin. He's got to stay out there, of course, in the hope that Sanmarino, because it's kind of frowned upon, isn't it, for a rider in Martin's position to go.
All weekend has had podium pace. I mean, that light rain, Martin that he needed, Michelin's rain tyres. He has not finished lower than 4. It's the reason why he came into this Grand Prix, 26 points clear. But unfortunately,
reigning world champion, one of the beauties of races in conditions such as this, when it's either on the 93 ahead of him, the GP23 ridden by Marc Marquez, who once again was a thing. He needs to come fairly soon because he's back in the 32s and over 2 seconds off the leader.
Good Marco Bezzecchi in 7th place, just trying to keep himself in, and Pol Espargaro currently inside the top 10. Oliveira in 11th place. He's left sideways, right, and then finally does get wheels in line coming through turn 8. Rain is falling once again.
In this race, he is still in a battle for that final World Championship point, because Maverick Viñales still in a battle here for 1 point.
Yeah, Martini will not, well, 15th would have back right now. Jack Miller's just running out of rhythm late on here. Marco Bezzecchi got him for 6 on that previous lap.
This is the back in the 33s last time around. You thought it couldn't get worse for Jorge Martin. It might be.
They're
a lap down, but they're fighting for a point.
There's a 7th battle for the top 10 to get a late track limits warning. They sweep now through turn 3. 15th place, still ahead of Maverick Viñales on the factory Aprilia. It's
a funny one, isn't it, too, for Martin? From the factory Yamaha, of course, Pramac will have Yamahas next season, but Martin, either riders are a lap ahead of him, with a rider who's got 10th of a second behind him and ready to take a point off him right behind.
Take it, particularly cleanly. We know how Maverick Viñales has really struggled to be precise on the brakes on that move on Jorge Martin. Oh, Bezzecchi goes charging into turn 14. He just about way through on the Spaniard. He was a bit of a rolling roadblock, wasn't he, the Gresini rider?
Yeah, both Alex Marquez would have found out how far he would have dropped down the order, because of course he collided with Pecco Bagnaia. Coming to this, Alex Marquez is back in the 33s and he's got 2 more laps to try and hang on to this 5th.
The issues that have come the way for Jorge Martin. This will almost feel like a win for Pecco Bagnaia. Alex Marquez doing a top job here of holding off Marco Bezzecchi. Fabio points in the top 10 in the sprint yesterday. Not very often you see Fabio Quartararo.
Through on Alex Marquez. Is Marquez going to try and get back through? He dare not go through because he would have run straight into the...
Have a good long glare at it. He was just trying to find out maybe how many poor places he could lose. That which surely is going to see Marc Marquez go back-to-back for the first time in front course to win for the 5th time in MotoGP here. Hugely significant and important second place coming the way of Pecco Bagnaia, but it's now Marc Marquez
today. But in the end, the big decision, the decision that's winning Marc Marquez this Grand Prix and losing
in the pocket. One corner remaining then for Marc Marquez, the 31-year-old Spaniard in Misano. Marc Marquez is your Grand Prix winner here, and second clear he is of Pecco Bagnaia, who takes 20 points out of Jorge Martin in the champ place. Bezzecchi 5th, ahead of Alex Marquez in 6th place. Fabio Quartararo second to be Pol Espargaro, the KTM Marco. In fact, he has just crossed the line, 39 second. Can you believe it? 1,043 days he had to wait for a MotoGP. Zini Racing's home round as well. That will be super special. They're in the special fan charging through the pack. There you go, back-to-back wins for the first time.